Sahana vavatu Sahana bhunaktu Sahaviryam karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu Ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. May the Lord protect us. May He nourish us. May we acquire the capacity to study and understand the scriptures. May our study be brilliant, and may we not cavil at each other. Om, peace, peace, peace unto us. Dear brothers and sisters, loving Sai Ram to all of you. We welcome everyone to the Sri Sathya Sai Baba Center of Arcadia for the study circle. Now, we'll come back to our study circle on Gita Vahini, Gita, Bhagawad Gita. And Swami has written, so we are on page 17. I said we'll be there on page 17 for a while. So in page 24 in the book, page 17 in the PDF. So here, Swami was talking about, so just I will highlight the few things which all of us should remember, because somebody said, oh, we're repeating this punascharana, that means repetition. Even Lord Krishna throughout does, you will see that even next Shlokas we do, so that it sinks into us. Unless you repeat, it doesn't sink to us. So most of the time, how many lifetimes, thousands of years, we thought we are this body, mind, intellect, so we can't think overnight. Atma doesn't even know what we are talking about. So it is very important they repeat. So just I will remember 5 shlokas at least, all of you make a note, and in the book you can refer. One is actually, first chapter is where Arjuna cries, I don't want to fight, this is not good, go on explaining. Then when it comes to chapter 2, shloka 7, that's where he says, Karpanya dosho upahata svavaha pucchamitvam dharma sammudha chetaha yasheyas nishchatam bruhitan me shishyasteyaham shadimam tvam prapanna. Essentially he says, Lord, I am confused. I don't know what is good, what is bad. So now I am your disciple. Please tell me what is I should do. I am surrendered to you. Because when you surrender, then God comes in. That is what we should remember. We should always do our best and surrender. I did my best, Lord. Please now you take over. So that is what. Then the Lord comes. That is why next Lord Krishna comes talking at shloka 11. And that is what we said last time. Swami says that is the most important for all students of Gita. It says, Asocya nanvasochastvam prajnavadamsya bhashase gatasuna gatasumsya nanusochanti panditaha. That means people who are wise. Pandita means here, jnanis, people who are knowledge, enlightened, they don't worry or grieve about people who are gone, that means dead, or people are living. And most of us do that, right? People worry about somebody who died, friends, or family, or relatives, or people who are living, about their problems, you take it on yourself. So both are, Swami said, they are ignorant. So you should not worry. So he says, you are worrying about something you should not do. You are telling all these big words. Prajnavadamscha bhashase. That means you are talking big words like a scholar. But really good, wise man won't grieve about the people who died. So that is another important slogan. Then, to make him get rid of this ignorance, he says you should know the difference between Atma and Anatma. The whole spirituality is that discrimination, what is true and what is untrue. Or another one, what is divine and what is worldly. And what is essential, what is non-essential. These are all called different ways. Atma, Anatma, Vicharam. Nitya, Nitya Vivekam. Nitya, something permanent, something, and what is divine. Because whole spirituality is we need to go and get attached to God and detached from the world. That is the whole, all the practices we do. That is why we're talking about northward journey of sun. That means, as Sri Ramakrishna beautifully said, as you go towards north, automatically you are going away from south, right? So similarly, whenever we are going towards God, whether we sing bhajans or whether do study circle, think our mind is less engrossed in the sense objects. So that is what it is, the northward journey. So for that you should know what is Atma and Anatma. So three important points he said, because this guy is worried, oh, all these kings and everybody will die, what to do about. He says, I was there before, all these kings were there before, and you will be there in the future too. He was confused, Arjuna, you are just only there for 30 years, 50 years, 100 years. How can I was there before and I will be there in the future? So that is why now he is explaining. What you think exists, the body, yes, it exists. But as the real you, which is I am, that is why Swami says, who are you? You should say, I am I. That I principle will be there forever. That is what he is trying to teach. But you are confused with the body. For that, two beautiful examples Lord Krishna gave. So one is that Dehino asmin yadha dehe kaumaram yauvanam jara tada dehantara praptir dhiras tatra namuhyati. Like in the body, we go through childhood, youth, and then middle age and old age, and then we go away. Right? That is the thing. There's nobody who escapes that sequence. Even animals, plants, saints, sages, avatars, even avatars have to go through that. So this is the part. As that happens, similarly you leave this body. This is what he says. And last sloka, last time we said, is another beautiful example, because by parables or examples only these high truths we can understand, otherwise it may not. Another he thinks is Vasamsi jirnani yatha vihaya navani grinhati naro aparani tada sharirani vihaya jirnani anyani samyati navani dehi. Like the old clothes, Vasamsi jirnani, you discard them and take the new clothes, right? So just after the time, people change. Some people change more often, some change very less. Like Abdul Kalam, he said he had only two pairs he had. Some people have one for every day. So, but people change the old clothes you give away and get the new clothes. Similarly, this body, which is old as it goes down, because everything, as we talked about, it's born, it grows, and then goes a lot of changes and just goes down with Pakshayate. We all have and finally go away. So this is similarly, so that happens. So don't worry about it. So he's telling the facts. One is the example of changes of the childhood, youth, middle age, and old age, and death. And another example, simple thing is we all go through old clothes, new clothes, right? Everybody changes. So particularly this time of the festivals, they do. So he says, similarly, you change, like you change your clothes, you change your body. So I wish people think like that easy. So then they want, but it's not that easy. So you need to have that conviction. For that, so if you really have that conviction, two important things he says. Matra sparshastu kaunteya shitoshna samadukkada agamapayino anitya tam titichashwa bharata. Really, if you are a hero, so whenever our body comes in contact with various sense objects, senses come in sense object, matra sparsha, then you'll get all these experiences. Morning to evening, we have experiences, right, to the senses. So, but this come and go, this come and go. We react to them. So you get profit, you get happy. You get loss, you get sorrow. You get pain, you get grief. You get pleasure, you are happy. Somebody praises you, you're happy. Somebody tells bad words against you, you get depressed. Sorry, you don't sleep well. Somebody said, so one of our recently, some senior devotee said from India, oh, I am not able to sleep well. How can I say? I said, take vitamin G, you can sleep. So, oh, really, where is it? He really didn't know. Oh, really, where is it available? He's serious then. It is available everywhere, no cost, no side effects. That is one thing. So, if we have that, then you have no problem. So you need to establish yourself. So this Atma and Atma Vichara. Once we know that, then you usually get don't perturbed. So that is where we stop saying that you don't get titicha. You need to have that forbearance and read the life stories of all the saints, even avatars. Can you tell me one person who didn't go through? Jesus. He went through so much humiliation, even put on a cross, and he was crucified, tortured, and then even then he says, Father, forgive them, they know not what they do. And Lord Buddha, his own cousin Devadatta, tried to kill him so many times, throwing him out of the cliff and sending the elephants. He has to go through that. And Sri Rama, being the avatar and king, he has to go in exile into the forest. That is a classical tale. He has to be next day crowned, right, as a king. And that is the time he says, go to the forest, exile. But the beautiful thing in Valmiki says, he had the same smile when you are about to be crowned to go to the forest. Forest, it is like a cliff versus a valley. So that is the kind that shows that is he has got that always be happy. That's why Smita Sundara is always, he has got that thing. So anything happen, here's an example. And Lord Krishna forget about, at least Sri Rama enjoyed for a while. So, and then we went forest. This man, even when he was born, he was had to be born in jail. And then he has to go through that, then started attacking all these demons, Putana, Shakatasura, this Asura, throughout goes. So his whole life, he goes on being attacked by demons and being criticized by people. So that is part of life. So just you need to see, but these people all exercise forbearance. Even Swami, how much he went through from childhood, if you read his life story, so how they cut him and put things, and how much they try to put fire to the place where he was staying. So all these things, they are showing an example. So in spite of all the challenges, how you have titicha, forbearance is a great virtue. We talked about it. Okay. Now we go to the Shloka 23 and 24 and 25. These are almost connected. Nainam chindanti shastrani, nainam dahati pavakaha, nachainam kledayantyapyo nashoshayati marutaha. So this Atma self, so shastrani, all the weapons, like whether you have got a sword or a knife, or you have got a trident, or you have an atom bomb, or nothing can kill this Atma. And nainam dahati pavaka, fire cannot burn it. So usually most of the common things, the weapons can cut and fire can burn and water can wet, or water, and then Maruta, Nashosheti Maruta, wind can dry it. He says the Atma cannot be affected. So these weapons, fire, and then water and things, they cannot affect it because it is beyond. So that's why he's giving that example, because body can be affected, right? If somebody puts you knife, body will be affected. And so you put water on you, you will be wet. And you put fire on you will be burned. So that is showing, that means this is something different than body. So just we need to identify, that is why Lord Krishna is emphasizing that point. Next sloka is the same emphasis. 24. Achedyo amadahyo amakledyo shashevacha nitya sarvagata sthanu achaloyam sanatana. Again, same thing. That's why some people say repetition. 2 slokas in a row, he says, Atma cannot be cut, cannot be burned, and cannot be wet, and cannot be dried. So that it sinks into our head. 2 shlokas in a row, he says the same point. But in the end, he says, then who is this Atma? Nitya, that is permanent. And he says, this Sarvavyapi, it is everywhere. And it is Sanatana, it has no beginning, no end, it is always there. So that is what is Atma. Body can be affected by wind, fire, and then the weapons, but Atma is permanent, is nothing can affect it. Then what is this Atma? Then 25 says, Avyakto ayam atinchyo amavikaryo ayam uchyate tasmadevam vidityena nanu sochetu marhasi. Don't worry about it, because this Atma, it cannot be grasped by senses. You cannot see it, you cannot hear about it. It's something to be experienced. And also atintya. Atintya means you cannot grasp by mind. So, and avikaro, that means it doesn't go changes. So remember these 3 important points. Lot of things, what you see, what you do, you can see through the eyes, through the ears, you can touch, experience through the senses. This, he says, you cannot experience through the senses. And second thing is, most of the things you can understand by our mind. He says you cannot understand by mind. And third thing, he says, it doesn't go any changes. No, this body goes changes. We said the born goes up, middle age goes. So no changes, and it is, that means no beyond. Something beyond, that means this is the path of self-inquiry. What is that which doesn't go through changes? What is that beyond senses? That is why Taittiriya Upanishad beautifully gives definition. Yato vacho nivartante aprapya manasasaha. It's very important. Even Swami tells in these courses. Yato vacho nivartante aprapya manasasaha. The mind cannot comprehend and words cannot express. This is something to be experienced. This is something which you cannot say in words. There is Sri Ramakrishna, another thing beautiful, like a dumb man eating a wonderful sweet, but he cannot say. You can see the experience, like joy, but you cannot see it. Similarly, this Brahmananda, something which you experience, but you cannot express. This is beyond the senses, beyond the mind, and we are always in the realm of body and senses. So that is what these 3 important shlokas, they are connected to that. How we said, body, in the body, the changes happen. And also we said like old things. Here now he's telling Atma is the one which cannot be burned. Because for this, so maybe any amount we read, we need to really be prepared. We need to have preparatory thing. That is why I'll tell you a story of Nachiketa. I think we heard before. Did we hear about Nachiketa? Anybody who doesn't know? You know Nachiketa? No, a lot of people. Yeah, Kathopanishad. This boy, young boy, is only 10 or 12 years old, 12 years, they say. He is son of a rishi. His father is also a great man, Vajasrava. So this man is a nice guy. He was doing a yajna. Everybody wants to do yajna homa because you get a good results. Most of this is called karma kanda. You do something, Lakshmi yajna, you will get this prosperity. You do some yajna, you will get rid of sickness. Everything has a purpose. That is why they are called karma kanda. In the beginning, it is okay. So this man was doing that yajna. Part of it is you need to give the charities, cows. Cows you should give away to people or Brahmins. We all say Go Mata. So just Swami says the important 4 matas. Go Mata, that's mother, cow mother, Arthali mother, Bhu Mata, Deha Mata, mother who has given birth to us, and Veda Mata, that is Vedas itself is like mother. So this is we are giving cows. It's supposed to be, you giving cows is good to anybody, but you are giving to Brahmins. Said to be good. Brahmins doesn't mean born in the family, but people who have knowledge of the Brahman. So this man was giving. But this guy is so bad, he was giving all these cows which are weakling, dilapidated, they don't give milk, and they're very skinny, so they are of no use. Like Swami says, people give discarded food, discarded clothes, like that. When you give the best. That is why even Taittiriya Upanishad says, whatever you give, Shraddham Dreyam, give with a lot of thing. Shriyam Deyam, give good ones. Hriyam Deyam, what is useful for them. Samvidayadayam, give in plenty. So let us all, even when we do service, we should remember these 4 things. Whatever we give, that should be useful to that buyer. Hiyamdev. And Shraddhamdev is give with humility, not that, hey, you're less and I'm giving. And Shraddhamdeyam, Hriyamdeyam, Shriyamdeyam. Hriyamdeyam means you should go kneel under your feet. You're serving God with that humility you should be. And Samvidiyadhyam, so you give food, but that's not enough for that. So I say always have food to be available in plenty. Don't, oh, I'm hungry still after giving food. The person should say, okay, enough, you gave me enough, I don't want any more. So that kind of Samvidiyadhyam, give in plenty. So this guy was giving all wrong things. He was not giving the right thing. They are all useless and they are not useful. They cannot have milk. So this boy was upset. Dad, why are you doing this? This is bad. 2-3 times he was trying to tell his father, what you are doing is bad. Then his father got upset, get lost. I will give you to. So then he says, why don't you give me to also? I will give. He got so mad. He was in the middle of thing. He said, I'll give you to Yama. That is king of death. But his word, once you give word, this boy said, yeah, sure. This boy is so sincere at that young age. He then says, he go to Yamaloka, the land of the death. Then he says, goes there. He goes there. Yama went on a tour because he has to collect all souls. Collect all souls. Because they are all died. So that is his purpose, right? Whoever died, he has to collect them. So 3 days, the story is 3 days he has to wait at the doorstep of Yama. He comes back. Oh, Yama, they say his servants say, oh, master, this young boy is waiting for you, 3 days for you. Oh my God, what a sin I did. To make a Brahmin wait for 3 days like that is very bad. So Lord will get mad with me because Yama is also under the control of Indra and then Vishnu and all. So I had to compensate for this. He asked the boy, what do you want? I'll give you 3 boons. So he tells him, yeah, so my father was upset with me, make sure he is not upset. Second, I want second boon is something which is good sacrifice. When they do, people get benefit. What is the third boon? I want to know what happens after people die. What is the secret of afterlife? People say some people go there, some born. I want to know what is the secret of life and secret of death. No, that's not for you. He says, you're too young boy, you don't need that knowledge. If you want, I will give you, you'll live for hundreds of years, long life. Second, you will have so much wealth, you can be able to rule this whole world. And then he says, no, I don't want that. Then you'll have so many women and then so many children, grandchildren, you will be very happy, wonderful family. And like that went on, all the material pleasures he goes on telling. That boy said, no, these are all temporary. Will I be youthful all the time? I will get old. Will I have the kingdom? Or somebody else come and take it. So I want something by having which nothing goes away. Then she says, this guy is a really sincere seeker. That means he is discarding the worldly things for the higher good. Then he teaches the Upanishad, knowledge of the Atma, knowledge of the self. That is why I'm telling you is, in life we have to give the lower to get the higher. So that is what the Upanishad, that is what. Then he teaches, that is where we always talk about Shreyo Marg, Preyo Marg, that is there in Upanishad. Shreyo Marg is, what is Shreyo Marg? Huh? So all this, so many years we are talking about. No, Preyo is pleasurable. Shreya is for good. So is it Shreyo Marg or Preyo Marg? In life, everything it is pleasant. We always say something pleasant. Go and have a party with people, go here. That's all pleasant. You have fun time. Shreya Marg is something good. For student, go and study hard, or do this and do some tapas. That's good, but people don't enjoy in the beginning. If you practice, you'll enjoy it. So that's where Yama tells him, in life, you want to be a good seeker, take Shreyo Marg and Preyo Marg. That is where he also gives that, like Lord Krishna almost looks like he took that from Upanishad and put it in the Gita, where he gives the comparison of the senses as horses and then charioteer is the Atma, like that. All these things is there in the Kathopanishad. So then he gets the knowledge of the self. I am telling the story of Nachiketa, such a young boy. He has that, I don't care for anything, I want that. So when you have that, then only the self-knowledge comes. This is like the same example, Lord Buddha. He had everything, right? He had a beautiful wife, a nice son, he had a kingdom. He didn't care. He wants in search of truth. And he was barely 30 years old. He gave up everything. So you need to have that vairagya. If you want to, unless you are detached from world, you cannot be attached to God. But the opposite can happen. Like classical example is Vishwamitra. Why is called Vishwamitra? Vishwamitra. Vishwa is universe. Mitra is friend. So he's the friend of the universe. Why? Because he gave the Gayatri to all of us. So here he was a king actually. Vishwamitra before he was a king. King used to rule, and he is a good king. But the kings means automatically will have some ego, arrogance. So he was going, and then he comes across the hermitage of sage Vashishta. And then and he goes with retinue for all his armies. So many thousands of people are going with Vishwamitra. So he says, because for a sage, he says, hospital, sir, please stay here and have some rest and have some food. No, I will rest, but how can you feed us? Thousands of soldiers and with. No, don't worry, I will take care of that. Sage Vashishta says. He insisted. Okay, then he said, agreed. Then he provided him lavish feast, so many dishes, so many things. Vishwamitra was, that time he was not Vishwamitra, he was a Kaushika, I think, right? Yeah, that Kaushika, King Kaushik. He was surprised, my God, this guy is just in a hut and this forest, how can he provide so many delicious food, this and this? Then how did you do that? He said, I have a Devi who I pray, that is the cow Kamadhenu, Saurabi. So he says, you go and ask, and whatever you want, you do that. Then this Vishwamitra, instead of being grateful, he got greedy. Oh, I am the king. You stay in my kingdom, so this belongs to me, give it to me. So then Vashishta said, no, don't do that, please. That is not for you. It likes ashram. It wants to stay in the ashram. It likes the ambience of the ashram. You should not do that. Who are you to tell? I am the king. He tells all his army people, hey, go and bring it. He says, don't do that. Then Vashishta says, he has a Brahmadanda. You know, Brahmadanda means when they do that, they put this on that. It gets power. He puts on Brahmadanda. Hey, he doesn't do anything. All the army is gone. This gets shocked, Vishwamitra. Then he wants to do that. And so he didn't want to kill him. He says, he becomes powerless. Then Vishwamitra realized, my God, a kingdom, this power and all that, so effective before this Brahmadanda. So I want to get this, I want to become Brahmarshi. So he had the determination. But yes, that ego is there. So he was doing penance hundreds of years, he was doing. Finally, he was progressing. Suddenly there is a guy called Trishanku, one of a king. He was there. This guy is a good king, but he wants to go to heaven with the body. He doesn't want to die. Only go to heaven or hell after you die, right? That is the standard. He says, no, I want to go with the same body to heaven. So that is not possible. Then he goes to Vashishta, please let it happen. I said, so silly guy, so it never happened. Nobody goes there with the body, so get lost, he says. Then he tries to play games. He goes to children of Vashishta. Can we do that? Can you guys do that? They get mad. Instead of, at least he says, go away. They cursed him. You will be mutilated. So he gets deformed and all this. Then this guy thought, Vishwamitra is doing penance. Let me go to Vishwamitra. And Vishwamitra, yes, see, I want to go to heaven. This Vashishta said, no. And his children also said, no. Then Vishwamitra, he gets planned because he is so inimical against Vashishta. Enemy becomes your friend. So because he is the enemy of the thing, so he says, okay, I will send you to Sargam just like this body. Let me send you. He sends him to this heaven. And Indra gets upset. Who is this guy coming with body? He pushes him down. And then this guy pushes him up. then pushes it down. So then this guy hangs in, heads down, Trisha, that's why they call Trishanku Swargam. He creates a special heaven, so neither up nor down. In life, sometimes you don't make choice, then you do that. So this guy, Vishwamitra, he has so much ego, that the ahankara, that I want great. Because of that, he lost all his power. Whenever he used it, and he use it for Trishanku, and neither that guy went to heaven, and this guy lost all his thing. So he should have learned the lesson. Then he again continued his tapas, went on doing. So let me finish with this story today. It looks like we want. Then he went on doing that. Then temptations happen to life. One is arrogance or ego. Second is this Manaka, celestial dancer. She comes, she seduces him, then he has child. So then he realizes, my God, what am I trying to do? I want Brahma Vidya. I want to become Brahmarshi, and I'm wasted my energy with this Trishanku, now wasted with this Manaka. Then he goes very serious. Now I will do real tapas. So then he does real tapas. Then Brahma appears. Then he says, okay, now you are a Rishi. No, I don't want to be a Rishi. I want to be a Brahmarshi, like Vashishta. Competition, everything in life compare. I want to be. No, sir, I can make you Brahmarshi, I can make you just Rishi. If you want to be a Brahmarshi, go to Vashishta. He has to approve that. Like here in the Nobel Prize, somebody wants to get, somebody sponsors. Even for me, fellow of American College of Physicians, I will probably appear. 2 people have to, even though I passed, but still 2 people have to endorse me. Yes, you can give it. So that man has to say he's a Brahmarshi, he has to tell. Then so Vishwamitra, okay, let me go. Because now his mind is purified because he's did so much tapas. He goes there, and Vashishta, I was talking to Arundhati, his wife. This Vishwamitra is doing all these tapas. I was silently helping him. Because poor guy, he has this ego, this lust and desires. So slowly he needs to get rid of them. They are obstacles for spirituality. So I am trying to help. Then Vishwamitra gets shocked. Even though I was so bad to this man, such a noble man, he still loves me, he's trying to help me. How bad I am, just he falls at the feet of Vashishta and asks for prayer. Then forgiveness. Then Vashishta, as soon as he touches the feet, he gets some big light, revelation, and that is the time Gayatri comes. Om Brahma Gayatri, Om Bhurbo Swaha Tatsavitur Varenyam. So that is why Vashishta said, you are not only Rishi, you are Vishwamitra, you are the friend of the whole universe, because you did that. So that is how, even though he was a great man, king and all that, he has to have that arrogance, ego and lust and all that, which was obstacles. As a little boy, when he was not a little boy, he has complete detachment. That is the gift of God. That is why we say young people they start early, drive slowly, and reach safely. So we need to have that thing. That is why for spirituality, you need to have that tenacity, that perseverance to tread the path. Then you will reach the goal. So always constantly, is it good? Is it Sheyom or Peyom? Is Atma and Atma? You need to constantly discriminate. So we have 3 minutes. If there is anything, anybody has any comments or question? Yeah. Take the microphone. Yeah.
Is there any story about Vishwamitra having a swargam of his own and creation of some vegetables and fruits and all that?
No, I told you this is Trishanku Swargam. He created his own. He can create any Swargam. Swargam is all the figment of imagination, creation. So actually, Brahmana Maharshi, somebody said, so Bhagavan Ramana, so there are people I want to go to heaven, hell. So Swami, Ramana Maharshi says, if you think hell exists, heaven exists, so it is all your mental projection. Ultimately, there is a beautiful Telugu poem. Tana kopame tana shatru, tana shantame tana kuraksha daya chuttambo, tana santoshame tana swargamu, tana dukkhame narakam andu tarthimutumti. What is swargam? When you are in blissful state, that is swargam even in this world. And what is narakam? Just with this sorrow. I remember one time we were going to 1994, Swami invited us to Kodaikanal, we were there. And only Swami, whom he wants, he can go, nobody else can go. So I didn't even tell my mother, she is smart, she came to know that we are going. So she wants to come, but I can't call her, only Swami has to call. Then she directly goes to Swami. Swami, you call Narendra and I also want to come. Why do you want to come? Because I heard Kodaikanal is like Swargam, she said. Because a lot of people describe it. So we are with Swami, eating, drinking, going and all that. How did you see Swargam? How does Swargam look? Swami asked her. How do you know Swargam looks? She was shocked. Because Swami, these all our images were. Actually, if you read Middle East people, what their Swargam is, where there is water, there are a lot of dates, because they don't have water there and they don't have way to lay. So it is all your own projection. Then Swami said a beautiful thing. Wherever Swami is there, that is Swargam. Right now I am put about that is Swargam. If it is there rightful, I am Swargam. So wherever God is with you, that is ultimate Swargam. But this is our Pauranika stories, so you can go on explaining, he can create. Vishwamitra is such a great sage, he can create a Swargam. You can create your own Swargam too, Padma. So Swargam is our own. That says beautifully, that's why these great sages, Tana Santoshame, Tana Swargamu, Tana Dukkhame, Narakamantu, Tathyamu Sumati. Truth is your own, you're always blissful, or even maybe in the middle of Swargam, you may be miserable if your mind is not in tune. So this is state of thing. That is why ultimate thing is Swargam, Narakam, a spiritual seeker, let me make it clear, you should not think about it. That's temporary stage. It is like somebody goes to a vacation, Las Vegas or Monte Carlo, someplace, you have to come back after that. Similarly, once your punyam is done, once you have to come back. We should think about permanent solution, which is moksham. That means no cycle of birth and death. That means no more heaven, no more hell. We don't want heaven or hell because they are temporary places. So that is what it is.
So there must be something, I don't know exactly, but there is something called Vishwamitra Srishti with vegetables which are not supposed to be used for Shraddham. So we Brahmins have to go through that list. Whatever he has created, we cannot use it. So whatever is Brahma Srishti, that's all we can create. So I wanted to know if you know anything about it.
Why actually, ultimately, we should not get whatever God created is all thing is good. Brahma, that is what is the present Srishti. So this is, we can't say these are all Puranic stories. But how is it implies to our daily living? That's what we have. So it doesn't matter really. Once you say Brahma Arpanam, nothing will bother you. So just once it is offered to God, any vegetables will become good vegetables, practically speaking.
So thank you for the beautiful rendering of Nachiketa story. These are all metaphors, right? What does it practically mean when we say Nachiketa questions Yama? Did he contemplate deeply? Did he meditate on death?
Yeah, Nachiketa is that's why some of these people at that young age to have it, they have probably finished their austerity, spiritual discipline in their previous life. Classical case, Prahlada, he was only 5. How did he become enlightened? His father, who is much older and he was like a scientist, he could conquer all the worlds, he could conquer everything. The Swami says the greatest scientist available, better than those days itself. He has go to astral worlds, moon, sun, everything, control. Whereas this 5-year-old boy, so it is not what the control this boy. So he had that instinct inner. He has got that good feeling and he want to know the truth. That is why he was insisting. He was not tempted. Most of us will be tempted. He says, you want a kingdom, you want this, you want this. Yield to the temptation, 90%. Even as he said, Vishwamitra, such a great man, he was given to temptation. But this boy has so much conviction, tenacity. I don't care all that. I want only self-knowledge that shows his conviction and things. So that is why that boy coming back to Nachiketa, it's not just as this is the Upanishads, and Swami gives lots of importance to Kathopanishads, and Swami Ranganathananda of Ramakrishna order, all the great masters give, and Swami Vivekananda's most favorite Upanishad is Kathopanishad. So because this is where the inquiry into self-knowledge, that is why if you really good spiritual seeker, you should really study the Kathopanishad. Because most of the things from there also in Gita, but it's beautiful, the various things about all this self-knowledge. It is very clearly given. That is where he says also, Churasya Dara. Famous sayings we talk about is from Kathopanishad. Churasya Dara. That means this spirituality is walking like a razor's edge. And this is where Uttishtata, Jagrata, Prapya, Varan Nibodhita. Arise, awake, and stop not till the goal is reached, which Vivekananda used to use often. These are all from Kathopanishad. So that is a very powerful Upanishad. Okay, Sai Ram, we will continue next week.